Because of the supremacy of Seekers and Heartseekers right now, and Fiends, you can definitely do something else with Slaanesh to catch your opponent off guard. Here, Ryder Rohan has gone completely in the other direction. He's got 3 Chosen and Prince Sigvald. How long has it been since we've had Sigvald on the channel? I was actually just thinking, we used to see him a lot more often. He's decent for sure, definitely okay, but Slaanesh just has so many better options now. There's not a lot of reasons to take him, but yeah, against the Vampire Coast. Let's take a look at the rest of the build here. We've got some Hellstriders and Furies. Still 1 Fiend, so you got some mobility. And the Hellstriders, I mean, they're also very good, right? They got similar buff to Seekers and Heartseekers in terms of being able to get more models in contact when they get in melee. Now, against them, we've got Count Noctilus, some deckhands, we've got some bombers, couple shotguns as well, and handguns. So yeah, it's a lot of range damage, but I mean the bombers are essentially kind of a melee ranged unit. Yeah, gonna do some pretty solid damage here. I would be a little bit worried about this build against more traditional Slaanesh mobility, perhaps. There's a lot of guns and whatnot to defend, but he does have the bats here. He's got the Lamprey's Revenge, Regiment of Renown, Lamprey's, Rotting Promethean Gunnery Mob, rather. And then the white also is going to be taking some pot shots here. Sigvald will basically be more or less immune to that, although it looks like he's going after the caster, which is definitely the right call. Gonna drop a little bolt there on those bombers. Get the party started. And the Chosen are going to get in. The bombs will definitely do some good damage to the Chosen. Perhaps texture is extremely dark there for some reason, but anyway, Chosen kind of saturated in here. See if the bombs get unleashed. Right now, it doesn't look like they're in range, but yeah, something odd going on with the Lamprey's Revenge texture. It seems extremely dark for some reason. But yeah, so far bombers haven't had an attack order, but now it looks like the Chosen are going to get bombed out here. 1 unit of shotguns also gets in range. Yeah, the bombs, they're going to do some damage, but unlike other types of bombs, the Vampire Coast ones don't actually do a ton of AP damage. They do actually a little bit of AP damage. So the Chosen's 120 armor and physical resistance, 5% physical resistance, will mitigate quite a bit of that damage. And then in the back, you can see Slaanesh's mobility collapsing here. The bats a little bit slow to respond in some instances. The black spot at least have an anti-large bonus to charge defense, so they'll hold out okay here. But we do see this in the back line going to be Pit of Shades. Didn't realize, actually. Thought it was Lord of Slaanesh. Didn't check. It is Lord of Shadows indeed, so nice Pit of Shades there. It's going to absolutely wreck 1 unit of bombers. And the Fiends also getting into combat against the Lamprey's Revenge. Now we can see a nice Monstrous infantry duel. And Sigvald also being in this combat is pretty decent. Also, he can add some good weapon strength, right? Some heroic level weapon strength as he gets some jumps and pokes into these Lamprey's Revenge here. Fiends pulled back for a little cycle charge action. Right now, it's getting into a bit of a grind, which is going to be mostly in the Chosen's favor. Somehow this Chosen is like 100% surrounded almost by zombie halberds. Let's watch these elite infantry. Who says elite infantry aren't good? Well, and certainly Vampire Coast, it's interesting. They're one of those factions, they don't have the best tools for killing elite infantry. Certainly some tools have better, some factions have a better tool than others, rather. Sorry, it's still a little early in the morning here. Brain's still getting started. But, yes, like Skaven, for example, right? I've talked a lot on the channel about Skaven being a faction that you really don't want to take a lot of infantry into. Coast has not as many good anti-infantry tools. They do have some, but against a faction like Slaanesh, like I mentioned in the opening, because of the supremacy of those mobile units right now and just Slaanesh's reputation as a mobile faction, you probably wouldn't expect them to take Chosen. That's like kind of outside the meta right now. So as a surprise pick here, like, you know, the Vampire Coast build doesn't actually have great tools for dealing with it. Noctilus could have taken bit of shades himself. I think he's probably just been spamming the smell cost mystifying miasma on these chosen as much as possible, which is going to help a bit. It'll do some good damage over time, but yeah, one chosen is almost down here. The other one's getting pretty low. This one fighting in the front also is actually not doing too good. Yeah, value-wise, I don't think any of them actually pay for themselves here, but they do cut through quite a bit of chaff. Yeah, I don't know. It might actually not end up working out 100% for Rider Rohan here, but let's see. Did manage to get the Lamprey's Revenge down, which is a hugely important high-value unit. And then his mobility is coming in here and has shut down most of the range, so even though it looks kind of sketchy, if you actually kind of assess the full battlefield situation, mostly just chaff infantry left at this point. And with this caster still alive, has probably a couple more pits of shades. He runs in the caster, though, against Noctilus. That's a bit of a dangerous situation there. Yeah, this Chaos Sorcerer wants to stay far away from Noctilus as possible. He wants to try and fight him with Sigvald if he can, but Chosen here holding out, able to actually win out on that engagement. Pest Riders doing their best to continue cycle charging, as are the Fiends. You can see the Fiends switch over here into this little pocket where the range units are. There's no anti-large over here either. All the anti-large deckhands, well, the one remaining at least, is here. So, yes, quite the brutal battle at this point. You can see the Chaos Sorcerer there in the background getting bombarded. Did that actually kill him? No, it does knock him down. He did return from route. He's going to route one more time. He'll probably come back. Throw down a little bit more damage. We see more damage as well. Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma on this Chosen. It's doing okay. But yeah, there's 26 Chosen here, 36 Chosen here. And their leadership is definitely coming into play at this point, even though they probably haven't paid for themselves still. Being able to grind through has made them pretty impactful here. See Sigvald chasing Noctilus. Go ahead and swipe at a zombie there and then continue his pursuit. More summon zombies beyond the menu. But the Fiends, yeah, the Fiends' melee defense at this point. The zombies are getting real tired. Only 7 melee attack, plus 13 bonus versus large, 20 effective melee attack versus 37 melee defense of the Fiends. The Fiends, of course, also have the mobility to cycle charge and pull away, which also prevents them from taking damage in many instances. So, yeah, it's even though the balanced power is heavily against Slaanesh, I'm liking their odds to win pretty heavily here. Especially as Sigvald gets in a great duel, a little fascination on Noctilus to rampage him. Allows Sigvald to get a few swipes there. This Fiend also hammer and anvils over to the Chosen there. Crushing those zombies. Yeah, the Gunnery White does have a decent amount of HP left, but he used up just about all of his ammunition. And Sigvald's not even close to being heal capped. 2v1, though, it's definitely the best call. Let's see. Ooh, a little narcissism being used there to silence and pin Noctilus. Gunnery White probably saves him there, honestly, by moving into combat. It's a pretty good play by the Vampire Coast player to try and save his lord. But, yeah, the Fiends are going to come through, and now... Ooh, that So Perfect Busk is going to get onto Noctilus. He will slay a couple of the Fiends, which is pretty important, but he also gets a huge hit from Sigvald. And one thing to note about Sigvald in this modern age, right? We can see his stats are perfect. They're unblemished because he is perfect and unblemished, and he has perfect vigor. So Noctilus' stats are absolutely in the dumps, as are the stats for the Gunnery White. And his are not. And in particular, because he deals non-AP damage, when units get exhausted, he does more damage to them. So, yeah, the Gunnery White still has 100 armor. Not fully exhausted yet, just drained. Yeah, not fully debilitated as it is for Undead. But let's see here. Sigvald battling crabs, as he has probably many times. And, ooh, that was a little scab scrap there, trying to cut down the Chosen. But they are holding just fine. All they're fighting is zombies. Old Nocty boy. But it's quite the brutal battle here, it must be said. Ooh, wild spinning attack animation, kind of Dynasty Warrior style from Noctilus. Very cool. But I'm pretty sure, well, if Sigvald can do this all by himself, there is a handful more extremely exhausted, slow chosen, just slogging through the sand to get over here. Oh, yeah. Wow. Empire Coast is going to throw in the towel there. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, Caradran not thinking he can win there, which is maybe to be expected, but at the end of the day, none of the Chosen end up paying for themselves, but just having that backbone to be able to grind through while these mobile units, the few that are here, get the work done. And then Sigvald, of course, absolute beast, actually gets massive amount of value himself. 11,000 damage dealt, 70 kills. Gets key damage against, like, Sigvald, also helping to work down those Lamprey's revenge, right? Having him on top of the Chosen is just, ugh, it's nasty to try and get through, right? Chaos Sorcerer Slaanesh also helps clear some chaff as well. And it's just a nice combined win, honestly, for Slaanesh. Fiends also pay for themselves, which is nice to see. Noctilus and the Gunnery White both pay for themselves. The rest of the build, I mean, zombies are zombies. Some of them actually do pay for themselves, especially the polearms. The ranged zombies largely do not, and I do think this is potentially pitfall against Slaanesh. Definitely against their mobility to try and protect this much. It's tricky, though. Like, what are you supposed to do, right? Your own mobility just loses pretty horribly here. Even, like, juiced up, like, hordes of bats and hounds is not going to be enough to overcome this. Well, maybe against Hellstriders, they have an anti-large bonus, but I think their stats are good enough. They probably just win the fights decisively. It just probably doesn't work. Yeah, so I don't really know what you're supposed to do in the matchup, to be honest. Seems like might potentially be pretty tough for Coast, but maybe you few Coast players out there can let me know down in the comments below. Regardless, still cool to see Chosen on the field, and especially for a faction like Slaanesh that's so known for their mobility. And Sigvald, yeah, the wild Sigvald appearance. A fun time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.